Before I get into this video, a couple of things. Firstly, I apologise for the poor sound quality because it's a windy day and I can't go anywhere to get out of it. And secondly, I'm doing this video completely on the fly. It could be an absolute disaster. But before I came out walking, I was scrolling through X, formerly Twitter, and saw a few video clips that made me feel very sorry for children growing up today. Because even though kids today, at least kids in the West, have everything, they've got smartphones, computers, AI to do their homework for them, a million TV channels and games consoles we couldn't have imagined back when I was a lad, I still think they're missing out. Because when I was growing up in the 1980s, admittedly my first school didn't even have central heating. In winter, you kept your fucking coat on whether you were inside the school or on the playground. And at home, the TV only had 4 channels, and yes, every room of the house was perpetually filled with cigarette smoke, because back then everyone over the age of 18 smoked at least 20 a day. At primary school, in my pottery class, the task was to make an ashtray for your parents, because the teachers knew everyone was smoking. I still think we had it better than kids today. So I've got 3 video clips coming up. One is of a parent, one of a teacher, and one of a wedding. And they encapsulate the concerns I have for today's children. Now, I'm not a parent myself, and when people ask me, if you don't have children, what do you have? I reply, spare time and money. However, I've heard it is a magical experience, bringing a new life into the world, nurturing that tiny being and sending them on their way. Something a lot of parents do is ask, do you want to see pictures of my children? And from everyone else, no, we don't. None of us fucking care. If you do meet a stranger who really wants to see pictures of your children, be very wary of that person. So here is a mother discussing what it's like to have a shifting daughter.
A shifting daughter is a daughter that I don't have to fucking pay to go do things. She wants to go to Disneyland, she can go to Disneyland for fucking free. She can go anywhere. She can go to places that don't even exist. For free. I don't even have to go with her. And that's great because I am just never in the mood to spend time with my kids.
From what I can gather, a shifting daughter is a little girl using her imagination, pretending to do things. And of course, it's important for children to pretend for their mind to grow. It's also important for them to actually do things. It strikes me that mother is something of a selfish bitch. The mother saying that her daughter can go to Disneyland for free. No, she can't. She can pretend she's going to Disneyland. That isn't the same as actually going there. And she won't get in for free because I've not been to Disneyland, I've been to Disney World in Florida, and it's a magical place, but the security is tighter than most fucking prisons. No one gets into Disney for free. Well, I imagine a few kids do, but they're the ones with, like, Make-A-Wish, the ones who go to Disneyland because they're not going to see Christmas. And how far does that mother push her daughter's imagination? Is that little girl going, "Mummy, I'm really hungry"? And her mother replies, "Well, just imagine you've got some ice cream, and imagine you're having fun tonight. I'm going on a blind date to try and find you a stepfather for this week." Although I have to say, I do have some grudging admiration for that woman, for admitting she doesn't like spending time with her children. Because every parent makes out, every second is magical. I can never get enough time with my children. And sometimes when I hear people I know say that, I'm thinking, I fucking met your kids. I know you're lying. So that's the parent. Let's move on to a modern day teacher.
Hey y'all, let me introduce you to our non-binary alpaca. The kids voted on a gender-neutral name, Alex, for them. Alex was there to help me during the really quiet moments when nobody would talk during virtual learning. Yes, they were so quiet! But then I also took it as an opportunity to teach my students about how to respect people's pronouns. Did Alex ever get misgendered? Yes. But then it opened up some teachable moments about what to do when that would happen. For example, "Hey, Mr. Vung, did he just wake up from his nap?" "Oh, do you mean did they wake up from their nap?" "Yeah, they just did." I would apologize quickly, make the correction, and move on. I started off modeling how to correct somebody, and then afterwards my students would correct each other whenever somebody would misgender Alex here. Representation in the classroom matters. My kids were 5th graders, and they still got a kick out of Alex. Oh yes, and here's Alex's friend, Lincoln the Llama, who goes by pronouns he, him. At first, my students thought that he had very feminine features, so they thought that he was a girl. And this is why we should never assume somebody's gender just based on what they look like. Alright, Lincoln, say something. Hello. My students were really surprised how low his voice sounded. Don't assume.
That's a teacher, a 5th grade teacher, teaching children with the aid of a glove puppet. That is the Asian version of Mr. Garrison from South Park come to life. And why have a gender-neutral alpaca? I wasn't aware those animals were big into the gender ideology movement. When I've seen them at the zoo, I've never looked at one and thought, yes, that one there must use they, them pronouns. You can tell by the size of its bollocks. And I honestly believe that most teachers who are pushing this non-binary shit onto young children are doing so just so they feel better about themselves, so they feel a tiny bit less mad. And we can see that guy appears to be getting off on confusing children by having a feminine-looking llama and giving it a deep voice. I bet the kids are all fucking terrified, because it wouldn't surprise me if that guy doesn't realise he's doing the voices. Norman Bates had his dead mother up in the loft of the motel. That bloke's got Alex the alpaca. So if we have children being raised by parents who openly hate them, then going to schools with teachers doing everything within their power to confuse the fuck out of those kids, I believe we'll see more and more weddings like the one coming up. Rate my wedding? To be honest, love, it looks a bit shit. And I was trying to find something charming about it. Yes, it's maybe sweet they're getting married at home, but I think that's the dystopian nightmare we're heading for. People who feel compelled to tell us their pronouns, who have no social skills whatsoever, who are so confused they think their fucking cats are guests at the wedding. Probably marrying the only other person who'll talk to them. Because even the guy conducting the ceremony couldn't be bothered to put a pair of shoes on. I bet he couldn't wait to get out of there, give me the $50 and let me fuck off. And if we look at the cake topper, those cars, or rather vehicles, look a bit gendered. But look, even Lightning McQueen has had a fucking sex change. If I suggested to Mrs. Disgruntled, for our wedding, let's have you, me and the registrar in the living room, with a cake bought from a supermarket, and then we'll order in a pizza, we wouldn't be married today. I genuinely fear for those growing up in this very bizarre society. That's the end of this very short video. If you've enjoyed it, please do like and subscribe. And as ever, thanks for watching. Although kids today have today, at least in the West, have everything. Smartphones, computers. The kids in the East, they're the ones who make them. Ascertain a shifting daughter is a daughter using her imagination. Replying, imagine you've got some ice cream. And imagine you're not lactose intolerant. Who are pushing this non-binary bullshit. Fucking another one. So now we started with, I think it's a chainsaw.